Hey guys, welcome to this video on the components of a drone. So the main components of a drone are its frame, its motors, electronic speed controllers or ESCs, propellers, flight controller, a battery, a receiver, a transmitter, a camera, a video transmitter or a VTX, power distribution board, sensors like pressure sensor, GPS modules, etc., and the landing gear. So the frame. The frame is the main body of the drone. The frame is typically where all your other components are housed, including rotors, battery, boards, and camera setup. In simple terms, it is the drone's skeleton. So the types of frames based on how the arms are connected to the body are the H frame, the X frame, the hybrid X frame, and the box frame. Motors. So the motor is responsible for spinning the propellers and providing enough thrust to fly. A drone motor needs to be able to generate enough thrust to counteract the weight of the drone and enable it to achieve liftoff. So there are two main types of motors used in a drone, brushed and brushless motors. Brushless motors are slightly on the expensive side, but are preferred as they are more efficient, more reliable, and quieter than a brushed motor. Therefore, they allow for a longer flight time as well as conserve battery life. Electronic speed controllers or ESCs. As the name suggests, the ESC's purpose is to control the speed of your electronic motors. The ESC is also responsible for the conversion of DC battery power to AC power to propel the brushless motors. It is an electronic circuit used to monitor and vary the speed of the drone during flight. It is also responsible for the direction of flight and other maneuvers as instructed. In short, it is one of the most essential components of modern quadcopters. Propellers. So the purpose of a propeller is to generate thrust to make sure that the drone can attain liftoff and to help it in steering and maneuvering in different directions based on the speed at which they rotate. To keep your drone flying at a hover, the upward thrust needs to equal the weight of a drone. Propellers produce more thrust the faster they spin. If a propeller with long blades and a propeller with small blades were spinning at the same speed, then the propeller with the longer blades would provide more thrust. However, propellers with long blades require more force to spin, so a more powerful motor would be needed. The pitch is another factor in choosing a propeller. They affect the agility and speed of the drone. Propellers are usually made from a plastic compound, though carbon fiber propellers are also available. The type of material used to make the quadcopter propellers affects their stiffness and durability. Flight controllers. So the flight controller is the brain of the drone. It's a circuit board with a range of sensors that detect movement of the drone as well as user commands. Using this data, it then controls the speed of the rotors to make the craft move as instructed. Based on the input received from the receiver and interpreting signals received from other sensors, it converts those signals into action. These actions can be adjusting speed and steering, activating the camera, or any other operation the drone is configured to perform. Nearly all flight controllers have basic sensors such as gyroscopes and accelerometers. A gyroscope senses change in orientation of a device, and when paired with an accelerometer, it is an excellent tool for measuring the orientation of an object in 3D space. A power distribution board. Again, the name is self-explanatory. It distributes power. Specifically, it's responsible for distributing power from the flight battery to each of the electronic speed controllers which are connected to the motors, the camera, the lights, any specific payload mechanism attached, and other electronic parts that need to be powered. The receiver. The receiver is the main component responsible for accepting the signals sent from the drone to the transmitter or the remote control. They can be thought of as sensory nerves which collect information, that is, signals from external sources, the radio transmitter, and pass them along to the brain, the flight controller. The transmitter. This is the part that has been used for the transmission of radio signals from the controller to the drone to issue flight commands. The receiver and the transmitter must use a single radio signal in order to communicate to the drone during flight. Each radio signal has a standard code that helps in differentiating the signal from other radio signals in the air. So, the battery. The battery is the power source of the drone, without which none of the components would receive power, hence wouldn't function. Different drones have different battery requirements. Smaller drones may need smaller batteries due to the limited power needs. Bigger drones, on the other hand, may require a bigger battery with a larger capacity to allow it to power all the functions of the drone. LiPo batteries are often the go-to choice as they offer the advantage of high energy density in relation to their size, which means it packs more energy storage into smaller spaces. Drones and LiPo batteries make for a dynamic duo when it comes to providing longer flight times combined with lower weight and sharper flexibility. So the camera. It is not necessary for all drones to have a camera, but they can be added for a few reasons. One would be to provide a first person view or FPV. It can also be used for aerial photography or recording videos from a higher altitude. The VTX or the video transmitter. It's an essential part of an FPV system. It's a device that sends the video from an FPV camera to a video receiver, which can then display it on a first person view goggles or a screen of a mobile or a laptop. So, how does everything work together? The user controls the drone by giving his input via the transmitter, the remote control. The command signal emitted from the transmitter are transmitted to the receiver. These received signals are now interpreted by the flight controller. The flight controller now accordingly controls the ESCs, which in turn control the motors by altering the speeds as required. Additionally, a landing gear mechanism can also be present in case a drone has to house and carry a payload during its flight. In case of drones where such capabilities aren't required, the drones generally land on their belly. So now, be on the lookout for the next video.